You knew this video was coming. Osmo Pocket 3 versus iPhone 16 Pro. Which one of these cameras should you buy for your content creation? Let's go. What's up, y'all? It's Tyson Tearworth, and I'm back for another video. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Remember to be thankful for your freaking life today because you didn't have to have that. Before we move on, a few things I need to say. If you can't create good content with either one of these cameras, the iPhone 16 Pro or the Osmo Pocket 3 in 2024 going into 2025, you freaking suck and you need some practice. Both of these cameras are amazing. The second thing is I'm obviously gonna forget some stuff in this video. If I forget something or I mess up something, feel free to correct me in the comments, as y'all love to do. The next thing is this video is sponsored by Motion Array. I will tell you about them in a little bit. And the last thing is I have both of these cameras set up on a tripod. Now, I'm trying to film them as like for like as possible, but there's some differences which we're going to talk about. But I do have an ND filter on both of them, and I'm trying to adhere to the 180-degree shutter rule. I'm filming both in their respective log profiles. On the iPhone 16 Pro, I'm using the Blackmagic camera app to help me out with the exposure and all that other good stuff. So let's talk about why these two need to be compared, okay? First of all, the iPhone 15 Pro and the Osmo Pocket 3 was probably one of the highest debated topics online on which one is better for content creators and all that other good stuff. So let's start with what they are first. The Osmo Pocket is a handheld camera with a 1-inch sensor. It's got a freaking gimbal on it that can do tracking and all that stuff. I have it turned off right now. It can film in 10-bit up to 4K 120, all that other good stuff. It is a bomb little pocket camera and the image quality is fantastic. So is the low light performance. Now, the iPhone 16 Pro, we already know it's a freaking supercomputer in your pocket, right? So it's got the screen that you can edit and do all of that stuff on and post directly to your social networks, but it's got a triple camera set up in there and it can film in ProRes up to 4K 120 frames per second, and it does all of this AI stuff. So let's talk about pricing first because this is a big deal, and accessibility also. So for starters, the iPhone 16 Pro is going to set you back at least a rack, okay? At least $1,000 depending on the storage and all that stuff, all the way up to $1,500 depending on if you want the Pro or the Pro Max. Now, the good thing about iPhones is you don't necessarily just have to take the money out of your pocket. They're easily accessible because of carrier subsidizers. So a lot of people could just walk into their local T-Mobile or Sprint or whatever, and they could get one with no money down and not pay any interest and just make small monthly payments. So the barrier to get into an iPhone 16 Pro is a lot lower, or I say a lot easier than the Osmo Pocket 3. The Osmo Pocket 3 is $669 for the creator combo, which is, in my opinion, the only combo that you should get. But there's no option for carrier pricing, which means you either need to take the money out of your freaking pocket or you got to put it on a credit card, which means paying interest, and that whole dance right there. So as a whole, the iPhone 16 Pro is easier to get a hold of. Now, I want to talk about accessibility real quick because this is a big deal. All right, I hope you all can hear me. We out here at the beach. Okay, it just got done raining. And by the way, I'm using the DJI mic too. You can use it on both devices if you didn't know that. But let's get into the nitty gritty of the strengths, major strengths of each system. And then I'll go into like the granular stuff like camera quality, microphone quality, all of that other good stuff in a minute. I want to talk about the advantages of having the phone in your pocket. And that's the advantage in itself. You already have the freaking device with you. And the iPhone 16 Pro is Apple's most powerful device that they've made up to this point. So it's got like all of this improved AI stuff in it, which we haven't got a chance to test out yet at the time of making this video. It adds in camera control, which the jury's still out on how useful that is, but you have a really, really powerful content creation machine in your pocket where you can film it, photograph it, edit it, post it right from your pocket. You don't have to bring anything else with you. And that's the major strength of the iPhone 16 Pro. The image quality out of it is freaking amazing, as you are seeing right now. To be honest, for most people, it's really all that you need. But that doesn't mean that the iPhone doesn't come with disadvantages, because it has a lot of them when it comes to content creation. So first of all, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like people calling me, texting me, notifications going off. I just don't like having one device for my communication and creativeness, okay? The next thing that really bugs me about the iPhone is there is no screen for me to see myself unless I want to use the trash front facing camera. So right now I'm just hoping that I'm in frame. Now you can use an Apple Watch to help you frame up, but that's, you know, kind of clunky in itself. The other problem with iPhones is when they get warm, the screen dims, so it makes it hard for you to see when the phone heats up. The other thing, while I'm looking at it, for me to put an ND filter on this thing, I had to like put this funky rig on there to get an ND filter on there. And it's just a lack of buttons and stuff, even though we have camera control now. But it just like, it's really cumbersome, even like adjusting the exposure and stuff for this video clip. It's just really cumbersome to get that all together. Now, the other thing about the iPhone is if you want to get the footage off the phone, it can be pretty cumbersome unless you are using the external SSD. Now, the problem with the SSD is although you can film ProRes log to it, the file sizes are massive unless you use the Blackmagic app, which lets you go with like ProRes LT, smaller file sizes, but they don't allow you to put anything else on the SSD. So that means if you're out in the field and you filming and stuff, and you run out of storage, you just chalk it till you get home. So there's no way to get more storage or hot swap storage on the fly unless it's, again, using ProRes. Now, let's talk about the Osmo Pocket 3. Again, I prefer to have a dedicated camera. First of all, it's got a bigger sensor, although it does not have as many cameras as the iPhone, which is a huge thing. We're going to talk about that more. The iPhone has a bunch of cameras. The Osmo Pocket has one, although it does have a bigger sensor. The other thing I love about the Osmo Pocket is the ND filters are magnetic, and because it has a gimbal, it can track me. The iPhone just simply cannot do that. If you wanted to be able to do that with the iPhone, you would need to invest in the gimbal and, you know, one that can do tracking and all that stuff, which means more cost additional hardware that you have to bring with you. Let me go ahead and disable tracker right now. I could also adjust my positioning because the gimbal freaking moves even if I don't want to do tracking. I could remove the storage card also, which is a big deal. I could just swap it in the field if I run out of storage. I bring an extra storage card and boom, I can keep shooting. And before I move on to the other stuff, I do want to say this real quick. I couldn't film for 2 hours today. You want to know why? Because it was freaking raining. The iPhone 16 Pro and the 15 Pro, I'm about to say 15, has IP99 weather sealing. The Osmo Pocket has freaking none. And before we get on with arguably the most important part of today's video, the cameras, we need to talk about today's sponsor. That's Motion Array. Motion Array is one of the most important creative tools I have, y'all. Not only do they have your royalty-free, copyright-free, professional quality music, sound effects, all that good stuff, but what I love about Motion Array is all of the visual assets that they use. I've been using like film burns and transitions and stuff all throughout this video. Motion Array has so many amazing motion graphics. I'm telling y'all, when you go test it out, which obviously you can try it out for free, right? Not everything is included, but when you test it out, you're gonna want to sign up. I promise you. And because of that, I could actually offer you $50 off of an annual subscription using the link below. Stop going on Google, snatching, you know, assets that don't belong to you and all that stuff. Just get Motion Array, save yourself some hassle. Let's get on with the cameras. All right, let's go. You probably noticed that things look a little bit different today. It's kind of sunny out here. Terry got a fresh haircut. What's this all about? Well, I got home yesterday and a lot of the clips from the iPhone 16 Pro were out of focus with no audio, and I suspect it has something to do with the Blackmagic camera app. So we are back out here for another day, and I want to talk about now the cameras. Let's start with photography, which is a complete landslide. The iPhone 16 Pro absolutely wins, but I'll still tell you about the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket has one lens with a fixed aperture f2, so it's a 20 millimeter lens, and that's all you get. Now it does have a 1-inch sensor, so it can take some decent photos, especially in low light. However, it's pretty much a glorified point and shoot. There's no options in there besides RAW and JPEG. You can't like adjust, you know, anything about the camera, and it's only 9.4 megapixels. I mean, I guess maybe I'm being unfair. It's not like DJI marketed this as a photography camera, but when it comes to photography, the iPhone 16 Pro wins hands down. It's got a front-facing camera. It's got 3 cameras built into it. It's got an ultra wide, which is now a bin 48 megapixel mode. It also has macro. I'm looking at the main camera. Got a 24 millimeter, and now has the 5x camera that the iPhone 15 Pro had in a regular iPhone 16 Pro. I'm sorry, Pro Max. Now that camera's in the regular iPhone 16 Pro. And there's just so many different options when it comes to photos with the iPhone 16 Pro. You got your standard photos. You can use Pro RAW. They now have these new things called photo styles, which actually are like filters, but they don't destroy skin tones. You could go in there and change the tonality of them and all of this good stuff. Hands down, the iPhone 16 Pro is the superior camera when it comes to photography. It's not even freaking close. However, when we move on to vlogging, and this is turning into a ping pong match, this is where the Osmo Pocket 3 simply takes the freaking cake. For starters, I know I said this 40 times in this video, I can see myself. I can make sure I'm in the frame and focused. iPhone 16 Pro cannot do that unless I want to use the front-facing camera. Also, it's got a gimbal, so it could track me, making sure I stay in the center of the frame, or I could just sit it down on like a tripod to start the tracking, and it'll follow me around the room as if I have my own freaking cameraman. Overall, I'm getting lit up by these freaking bugs out here. The Osmo Pocket 3 takes the cake when it comes to vlogging. It's got a wider lens and tracker built into it. I just think it's overall better. My arms is getting so tired. I do prefer the image out of the Osmo Pocket 3. I think it looks more natural. I think the colors look more natural, although I do like the colors when the iPhone 16 Pro is filming in ProRes, but I just prefer the image out the Osmo Pocket 3. I know it's a personal preference, but if I had to just base it strictly off of image quality, I'm gonna take Osmo Pocket 3. Now, both of these cameras shoot 4K 120 frames per second now, which is fantastic. Last year with the iPhone 15 Pro, it could not do that, but now it can. And the advantage here with the iPhone is the iPhone can actually do it in ProRes if you hook up an external SSD. Low light also goes to the Osmo Pocket 3, however, because it's got a bigger sensor and it can just handle low light stuff better. So overall, this is a toss-up when it comes to cameras. If you're into photography and that's more important for you and you still want decent video quality but you don't care about the tracking and all that stuff, iPhone 16 Pro. If you're gonna be creating a whole lot of content by yourself and you wanna track yourself or track objects and use like the tracking on there to shoot like B-roll sequences and stuff like that, and you're doing a whole lot of vlogging, the Osmo Pocket 3 is the smarter choice. Again, you can't go wrong with either, but there are a very clear set of advantages that each one holds, and you got to see which one works best for you. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that the iPhone can now start and stop recording in one video clip. So you know how on TikTok, how you can kind of start recording and you can take your finger off the record button and then flip the camera around and then continue recording? Well, you could do that now on the iPhone 16 Pro. You cannot do that at all on the Osmo Pocket 3. I wish DJI would give us an update with that, but it's a super fire feature that the iPhone 16 Pro has. Both of these have several microphones built into it. Let's talk about the Osmo Pocket 3. I think the Osmo Pocket 3 has 3 microphones, okay? And obviously when it records spatially. And the other thing is if you're using a DJI mic 2 with the Osmo Pocket 3, which it comes with if you get the creator combo, not only can you just press the button on the microphone to trigger recording, but it can also record in 32-bit float on the microphone itself, synced up with the camera. The other thing is it can record the internal audio and the audio from the DJI Mic 2 at the same time. And then lastly, because it's got a USB-C port, you can connect external microphones and all that other good stuff. So audio quality with the Osmo Pocket 3 is fire. This is the built-in mic right now. Talking about the iPhone 16 Pro, it is no slouch when it comes to microphone quality either. It's got 4 mics built into it. It also records audio spatially, so you can hear everything around you, wherever the source of the audio is coming from. But the iPhone 16 Pro has this new feature called Audio Mix it is so freaking fire. You could go through after the fact and adjust the sound stage of the entire video clip, and you just do it all in camera. Like it's nothing else that you have to do, and the audio quality out of these microphones sounds freaking amazing. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can use the DJI Mic 2 even though it's not connected right now. You can hook it up with the iPhone 16 Pro via Bluetooth, and you can also use USB mics with the iPhone 16 Pro also. So I think the only advantage that the Osmo Pocket really has is the fact that it can sync 32-bit flow audio with the DJI mic, but you could also just record that externally and sync it up in post with the iPhone. But it's got the audio mix feature, which the Osmo Pocket 3 just doesn't have, so I'm gonna call audio a watch. I want to talk about USB streaming, battery life real quick. We'll tackle battery life, starting with the Osmo Pocket 3 first. Now, The Osmo Pocket 3's battery is not removable. However, filming in 4K 24, it'll give you about 2 hours of runtime, so it's actually really solid. And if it dies, you just plug it up to the charger. Oh my goodness. And it charges from 0 to 100% in about 37 minutes. It charges crazy fast. In addition to that, with the Creator Combo, you do get the little battery extension handle, which gives you about another 60% runtime. So overall battery life out the Osmo Pocket 3, super dope. With the iPhone 16 Pro, same thing. The battery is not removable. It charges really fast depending on the type of charger you're using, but you know, it just kind of depends on what you're doing with the iPhone, because it's such a supercomputer. You can kill it really fast if you edit in and using GPS and all that other good stuff, or you can make it last all day or more than one day if you ain't doing nothing. So battery life is a toss-up. When it comes to USB streaming, this is where the Osmo Pocket 3 takes the cake, in my opinion. So you can use the Osmo Pocket 3 as a USB camera on anything that will allow you to use a USB camera, and it tracks you at the same time while you're streaming, and you can use the built-in DJI mic to get the audio. So it's an all-in-one USB camera streaming solution. The iPhone 16 Pro obviously can use its own cameras to do streaming to any social network, but as far as using it as a USB webcam, you can't do that. The only platform you can use it as a secondary camera will be if you already have like a MacBook or iPad. Then it can use the ecosystem to use it as a camera. Overall though, when it comes to USB streaming and battery life, I think I would get a USB streaming to the Osmo Pocket. Battery life is, you know, it's kind of a toss-up between the two of them. Anyways, let's get on with my conclusion. I figured for this last part, I would just leave both cameras in their default video settings. I'm using a normal iPhone app instead of Blackmagic camera control, and the Osmo Pocket 3, I just got it in the normal color profile. I did leave the ND filters on though to help control the exposure. Listen, at the end of the day, both of these are fantastic devices. And to be honest, if you can afford both, you should get both. They really complement each other, and both of them are content creation powerhouses. But if you had to choose one, as much as oh my God, this is about to hurt. As much as I love the Osmo Pocket 3, I have like freaking 20 videos on my channel with this camera and about this camera. I have to admit, the iPhone 16 Pro, especially with all of its improvements, although some of them might be gimmicky for some of y'all, over the iPhone 15 Pro, is really just the superior device for content creation. It's a great photo camera, it's a great video camera, plus it's a freaking supercomputer in your pocket. I know it costs a little bit more, but in my opinion, the extra $300 that it will cost you over buying something like the Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo, which is $670, you know, it's kind of worth it. So unfortunately, I have to give the nod to the iPhone 16 Pro. Anyways, big shout out to Motion Array for sponsoring today's video. And if y'all like this video, and if you want more videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you get notified when new videos go up. I'm sorry this video was so long, a little bit nerdier than I would like, but I feel like this information was necessary for people that are contemplating between the two of them. Anyways, until next time, I'm out of here. Tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Peace and chicken grease. I'm out, y'all. Much love. Peace.